Now, let's talk about building effective interview questions for medical affairs and specifically for field medical teams, whether they are MSLs, medical managers, or medical advisors. Generally, in the pharmaceutical industry, the field medical team plays a very important role that is completely different from other customer facing roles. And the main difference is the deep scientific acumen. This scientific acumen is a crucial aspect and expertise for field medical colleagues, as these professionals are often the bridge between the latest scientific advancements and clinical research and the practical application in patient care and clinical practice. So, evaluating scientific acumen of candidates applying for the roles of field medical teams is a very important aspect in the interview process to ensure that the team is equipped with individuals who can uphold and advance the company's scientific integrity and reputation. And this is the main difference between hiring medical affairs and hiring another customer facing role. So, the evaluation of a candidate's scientific acumen is an integral part when you do interviews in medical affairs. And this starts with a well structured interview process, as we mentioned before, that probes their depth of knowledge, ability to interpret and communicate complex scientific data, and their understanding of the latest developments in the field. This process often involves a series of tailored questions designed to assess not just the candidate's current knowledge but also their capacity for critical thinking and continuous learning, their understanding of academic writing, their understanding of doing a critical appraisal of scientific evidence. This is essential, especially in the in the evolving landscape of the industry. For example, interviewers might pose questions that require the candidate to discuss recent advancements in a specific therapeutic area, which is relevant to the company's focus, or which reflects the past experience of the candidate being interviewed. This not only assesses the candidate's current knowledge but also their commitment to staying abreast of new developments. A question, for example, like, can you discuss a recent breakthrough in oncology treatment and its implication on patient care? This will test the ability to synthesize and communicate complex information in a clear and impactful way. Another critical aspect is the candidate's ability to interpret and analyze scientific data. This can be evaluated through questions that present hypothetical but realistic scenarios. For example, the interviewer might present a set of clinical trial data, maybe hypothetical data, and ask the candidate to interpret its significance and to identify potential flaws in the study design. This type of question assesses the candidate's analytical skills and their ability to apply scientific principles in practical settings. Furthermore, the interview process can include situational questions that simulate real world challenges faced by field medical teams. A question like, how would you explain a complex mechanism of action to a healthcare professional who is not specialist in that area? This will test the candidate's communication skills and their ability to make complex scientific information accessible and relevant to diverse audiences. In addition to these specific questions, the interview process should also assess the candidate's ability to engage in continuous learning and adapt to new information. The pharmaceutical field is one that is constantly advancing and progressing, and the ability to keep pace with these changes is very important. Questions about how the candidate stays updated with scientific literature or their approach to learning new therapeutic areas can provide insights into their commitment to ongoing professional development and continuous learning. That is to say, Evaluating the scientific acumen of medical affairs generally and for field medical teams specifically during the interview process is a must. And it's a multidimensional task that involves assessing the candidate depth of scientific knowledge and their analytical and communication skills, their ability to engage in continuous learning, and so on. By carefully crafting the interview questions, case studies, exercises, processes, the company or the organization can ensure that the field medical teams are not only knowledgeable but also equipped to effectively bridge the gap between scientific knowledge and clinical trial knowledge and the practical application in clinical practice. And this rigorous evaluation process is essential to maintain high standards of scientific integrity and expertise that differentiates the roles of field medical teams from other customer facing positions in the pharmaceutical industry. Another very important area to evaluate is the cultural fit. Evaluating a candidate's cultural fit during an interview is an essential aspect of the hiring process, particularly in today's diverse and dynamic work environments. Cultural fit refers to how well a candidate's values, beliefs, outlook, and behavior align with the core values and culture of the organization. This alignment is very important as it not only affects the candidate's potential job satisfaction and retention, but actually it impacts team dynamics, productivity, and the overall workplace atmosphere. The process of assessing cultural fit begins with a clear understanding of the organization's own culture. You cannot assess someone's cultural fit if you are not aware of your own organization's culture. And this includes its values, norms, and the behaviors that are celebrated or discouraged even within the workplace. With this understanding, interviewers can craft questions and scenarios that reveal how well candidates' personal values and work style align with the organization's culture. One effective approach is to ask open ended questions that encourage candidates to share their experiences and perspectives. For example, interviewers might ask, can you describe a work environment in which you felt most comfortable and productive? Or, how do you approach conflict resolution in a team setting? These questions allow candidates to reveal their values, work ethics, and interpersonal skills, providing insights into how they might integrate into existing company culture. Another strategy is to present hypothetical workplace scenarios once again to understand how the candidate might react in different situations, reflective of the company's typical workplace environment. For instance, posing a scenario where teamwork and collaboration are essential to solving a problem can shed light on the candidate's ability to work in a team oriented culture. Similarly, asking how they would handle a tight deadline or a high pressure situation can reveal their fit in a fast paced organization, in a results or driven environment, and so on. Behavioral interview techniques are also highly effective in assessing cultural fit. And these behavioral techniques involve asking candidates to describe past work experiences that demonstrate their behaviors and attitudes in various situations. These questions, like, for example, can you tell us about a time when you had to adapt to a significant change at work? Or describe a situation where you went above and beyond for a customer or a colleague? These questions can provide real life evidence of how candidates' values and behaviors align with those of the organization. It is also important to evaluate the candidate's potential for growth and adaptability within the company culture. Questions about their long term career goals, how they approach learning and development, their willingness to embrace change can indicate their ability to evolve and thrive as the organization grows and changes. In addition to the question asked, the interview setting and process itself can be reflective of the company culture. For example, a more informal conversational interview might be indicative of a relaxed, open company culture, while a more structured, formal interview might reflect a more traditional, hierarchical organization. In conclusion, evaluating a candidate's cultural fit during an interview is a complex but vital process. It involves understanding your own organization culture, crafting questions and scenarios to assess alignment, and using behavioral interview techniques to gather real life evidence of a candidate's fit. By assessing the cultural fit, teams can ensure they are not only hiring individuals with the right skills and experience, but also those who will thrive and contribute positively to the company culture and future. This alignment is key to building a cohesive, productive, and happy workplace. In large organizations, the interview process is often characterized by a blend of structure and flexibility. These organizations typically have a set of predetermined interview questions, meticulously designed to align with the overall hiring strategy. These questions are designed to assess the technical skills and experience of the candidates and also to evaluate their alignment with the company's values, culture, and the specific demands of the role. Understanding the purpose and intent behind these standardized questions is very important for the interviewers to effectively assess the suitability of the candidates. In other words, we need to know and understand why we are asking this question and what exactly we are looking for. The set questions provided by big organizations serve multiple purposes. First, they ensure consistency across interviews, which is vital for fairness and objectivity. When every candidate is asked the same core questions, it provides a common ground for evaluation, making the process more equitable and fair. Secondly, these questions are often the result of extensive research and refinement, ensuring they are effective to provoke the kind of responses that reveal key aspects of the candidate's profile. For example, a question like describe a situation where you had to work under a tight deadline. This question is designed to assess the candidate's time management skills and probably their ability to perform under pressure. Another common question, such as give an example how you would work with a team. This question aims to uncover the candidate's teamwork and collaboration skills. These questions are carefully chosen to probe the various competencies and traits that are crucial for success in the role. However, while these standardized questions form the backbone of the interview, interviewers also have the flexibility to dive deeper with certain role-specific questions. And this flexibility is very important because it allows the interviewer to tailor the conversation to a unique aspects of the position. For example, for a role that requires innovative thinking, the interviewer might ask, can you tell us about a time when you brought a new idea to your team? How did you implement it? Such questions allow the interviewers to assess the specific skills and experiences that are directly relevant to the role in question. Understanding the rationale behind the set questions is key for the interviewers. It is not just about the candidate's answer, but how the response align with the competencies and the values of the organization. For example, a question about dealing with a challenging team member is not only about conflict resolution, it's also about the candidate's emotional intelligence, patience, and ability to maintain a positive work environment. Moreover, interviewers need to be able to interpret the responses to these questions. It involves looking beyond the surface level content of the answer to understand the underlying competencies, thought processes, and attitudes. This level of analysis or understanding enables the interviewer to make more informed evaluation of each candidate. So, in big organization, the blend of standardized and role-specific questions, this mix in interviews creates a comprehensive framework for assessing candidates. While the set of questions provide a consistent and equitable foundation for evaluation, the flexibility to ask role specific questions allows for a deeper understanding of the candidate's suitability for the specific position. For interviewers, the understanding of what each question assesses and why it is being asked is crucial for making the most out of the interview process and experience. And this approach ensures that the organization not only hires candidates with the right skills and experience, but also those who align well with its culture and values. The interview process is a critical phase in the recruitment journey, one that is about assessing the suitability of the candidates and also about adhering to legal and ethical standards. So, now we will talk about the legal and ethical considerations around the interview process. And these legal and ethical considerations are paramount to ensure fairness, avoid discrimination, and maintain the integrity of the hiring process. These considerations are not just guidelines, but are often enriched in law, making their observance not only a matter of ethical responsibility but also of legal compliance. So, what are the legal considerations about the interview process? The legal framework surrounding the interview process primarily revolves around anti discrimination laws. These laws, which vary by country and by region, are designed to prevent discrimination based on race, gender, age, religion, disability, sexual orientation, and other protected characteristics. For instance, in the United States, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission enforces laws that make it illegal to discriminate against a job applicant or an employee. Similar laws exist in other countries, each with its own set of rules and regulations. In practice, this means that questions in an interview should be strictly job related and should not touch upon personal aspects that could lead to biased decisions. For example, asking a candidate about their marital state, plan for children, religious beliefs, or age is not only irrelevant to the job application or to their ability to perform a job, but also potentially discriminatory. So, this is related to the legal considerations. What about the ethical considerations in the interview process? Beyond the legal compliance, ethical considerations in the interview revolve around fairness, respect, and integrity. So while the legal considerations revolve around discrimination or anti-discrimination, the ethical consideration revolve around fairness, respect, and integrity. It's about creating an interview process that is not only free of discrimination but also respectful and considerate to all the candidates. This includes maintaining confidentiality of the candidate information, providing equal opportunity to all candidates and ensuring that the interview process is transparent and free from any unconscious bias. Ethical interviewing also involves providing honest feedback to candidates. It's about giving constructive feedback when necessary and being transparent about the reasons behind hiring decisions. In this context, let's discuss the strategies that can help the hiring managers to ensure they are respecting the ethical and legal considerations while doing interviews. First is trainings. Trainings for the interviewers. Each organization should provide regular training to interviewers on the legal aspects of interviewing, as well as the unconscious bias and ethical interviewing techniques. Such trainings help interviewers to stay informed about the laws and best practices, ensuring a fair and legal ethical process. The second strategy is to do structured interviews. Using a structured interview format with standardized questions can help reduce any bias and ensure that all candidates are evaluated on the same criteria. And this structured interviews helps keep the focus on the candidate's skills and qualifications relevant to the job. The third strategy is documentation, keeping detailed records of interviews, including the questions asked by reasons for hiring, can be very important for legal compliance, and this you may need maybe 3 or 5 years after the interview. This documentation can provide valuable evidence in case of any legal disputes regarding the hiring process. Another strategy is the diverse interview panels. Having a diverse group of interviewers can help mitigate the individual biases and bring different perspectives to the evaluation process. Another strategy is the feedback mechanism. Implementing a system where candidates can provide feedback on the interview process can also help the organization to identify areas for improvement and ensure that their process remains fair and respectful. In summary, the legal and ethical consideration in the interview process are integral to conducting fair, respectful, and compliant recruitment. Adhering to these principles not only helps the organization to avoid legal consequences, but also to foster a reputation of integrity and fairness, attracting the top talent and building a diverse and inclusive workplace.